After the intense final special exam at the end of their second year, Horikita and her classmates who were placed as Class D students back in the first year, finally become Class A students in their third year. However, their biggest player Ayanokoji Kiyotaka has been transferred to another class. Ayanokoji left Horikita and the others, whom he went through thick and thin together for 2 years, and transferred to the previous Class A who lost their leader, and now became the third-year Class C. The students in Horikita class fall into a state of confusion and chaos, but there is one cruel truth. Horikita and the others from the third-year Class A must defeat Ayanokoji if they want to graduate as Class A. With the third-year arc coming soon, it brings the biggest hype in the history of Classroom of the Elite. However, from the first volume of the third-year arc synopsis, it doesn't sound like this volume could live up to the hype. Let's take a look at it one by one. From the official Volume 1 third-year arc synopsis, there will be a new special exam called General Academic Ability Test for All, and Small Group Battles. The translation could vary a bit, but the main point is this new special exam will revolve around an academic test, and a small group or minority will play a crucial part in it. This is just my personal opinion, but academic tests are some of the most boring special exams. The paper shuffle or the cooperative written test didn't give me a lot of excitement when it was announced. One of the reasons is the lack of penalty. Throughout the series, no one ever gets expelled because they cannot answer math questions properly. Even in Volume 1 where Pseudo almost gets expelled, they could buy the exam point with a private point to save him, so there's always a safety net. The only exception is the Survival and Elimination special exam, where Kamaru ended up getting expelled because she could not answer the question that was thrown at her. However, this exam is more like a quiz instead of an academic test, and the new special exam is clearly about an academic test. However, it is not fair to judge a new special exam based on previous volume. Volume 1 second-year arc partner exams have some special rules where there is a chance for expulsion, even if it's almost impossible to happen. So we could expect this new special exam to have a different element that would make it entertaining. Judging by the exam name, this new special exam will test students' academic understanding in all subjects, so it should be similar to the second-year partner exam. The only difference is the role of the small groups. I could think of two possibilities about the role of the small group. First, each class would send a few students with the highest academic level to fight the group from another class. Or second, all students will be divided into a few small groups, and each group needs to face another group from another class, so the winner will be decided by which class has the most group victories. However, if we look at a different translation, the name of the new special exam could be translated as the Comprehensive Academic Test of Majority versus Minority. This name is easier to predict, because the name clearly told us there will be a battle between a small group against a larger group. For example, 3 students with an academic grade of A will face off against 5 students with an academic grade of C, or 1 student will face off against the whole class. The last one might be hard to believe, but if Kinugasa wants to make Ayanokoji shine as bright as possible, this is the best chance to do it. Just like how Ayanokoji got a perfect score in an impossible math exam back in Volume 1 second-year arc, Ayanokoji could face the exam seriously and get a perfect score in every subject. In the third-year arc, Ayanokoji should stop pretending to be a normal student, so this exam could be the best chance to show the school that he is way more dangerous than they thought. If Ayanokoji versus the entire Horikita class could really happen, the next volume will become a massacre arena for Ayanokoji, so he could farm unlimited aura as the Demon King. It sounds impossible to happen, because the other student from Ayanokoji class will be nothing but a liability, but it does indeed sound really cool. However, it is boring because it's easily predictable. We know Ayanokoji would easily get a perfect score, and we know Horikita's class will definitely lose with a great humiliation, and that's why this volume seems a bit boring, at least for me. However, it doesn't mean an official synopsis could tell us everything that will happen in the next volume. Back in Volume 7 second-year arc, there was no mention of Yagami in the official synopsis, so Yagami expulsion became a really big surprise back in the day. That's why I hope there will be something surprising in the middle of predictability, for example, an expulsion. Even though the end result is predictable, an expulsion will always become a huge surprise, especially if it's a character that we know well. Someone like Ika will have a hard time with an exam based on academics, and we already know Ika ever since the first volume, so his expulsion will definitely have a huge impact on the class and the readers. However, I think expulsion itself is not big enough as a surprise. We already saw a few expulsions, but Sakura expulsion is the only one that was big enough to shake the entire class. Even if Ika gets expelled, Shinohara will be the only one who will cry for more than a week, while the other will focus on the next special exam. If someone needs to be expelled, Hirata is the perfect choice for it. His expulsion will make a lot of students feel unsafe, and make a lot of girls cry. If someone as capable as Hirata could get expelled, that means no one is safe from Ayanokoji villainy. The other person that might get expelled is Yukimura. Yukimura is currently the smartest student from Horikita class, so his clash with Ayanokoji will definitely happen in the next volume. As a former friend, Yukimura should have a lot of things to say to Ayanokoji, and this exam might be the last chance for them to talk. Back in Volume 2 second year arc, Yukimura feels betrayed by Ayanokoji getting a perfect score on the exam. If Ayanokoji gets a perfect score in all subjects in the next exam, I'm curious how Yukimura will react to it. They're no longer hanging out with each other, but I guess that will be the real end of their friendship. Yukimura expulsion will weaken Horikita class by a lot, and that will become another blow to Haruka, especially after she intends to build a friendship with Ayanokoji once again. I don't think Haruka will become relevant again, but it will be nice to see her doing something. Or, another way to give a big surprise is by expelling a few characters at once. We never get mass expulsion ever since the class wrote exam, so having 4 or 5 expulsions will color the beginning of the third year arc with a dark aura. Even if the exam result is predictable, I think this kind of dark development will give the third year arc a lot of attention as a promising starter. Another thing that needs to be noted from the synopsis is how each class is facing the new semester. It's stated that Riwen and the others from Class B are showing some kind of growth. For Riwen, it's clear because he is just experiencing one of the most important exams in his life. As for his classmates, I'm not so sure what it means for them. By the end of the second year arc, Horikita class finally reaches their long-time dream to become Class A, while the former Class A who lose Sakayanagi fall into Class C. Riwen class managed to secure their position as Class B, while Ichinose class is left behind in the bottom as Class D. However, if we are purely talking about academics, the one with the highest academic level is Ayanokoji class, followed by Horikita class, Ichinose class, and the last is Riwen class. Even without Ayanokoji, Class C already has the upper hand in this exam, so this exam will become especially hard for Riwen class. Maybe what the synopsis means by growth is their academic ability, but I prefer they have some kind of growth in unity or motivation. Defeating Sakayanagi is not a small achievement, and after their class managed to surpass 1,000 class points, their faith toward Riwen must have risen more than ever. Unity is always a problem for Riwen class, so this kind of development is actually a good thing. As for the other classes, some sort of connection has been created between Ayanokoji and Ichinose class just as predicted. As a fellow class that was left behind by the other 2 classes, they really need to join hands and work together. However, the last part of the synopsis somehow already told us how their cooperation will end. At the end, there is only one class that could graduate as Class A, so their cooperation is already destined to end. Either by one side betraying the other, or ended by mutual agreement. And the last one is Horikita class. As expected, their class falls into chaos and confusion without knowing the truth. There is only one truth that they know: they need to defeat Ayanokoji to be able to graduate as Class A. This part of the synopsis sounds a bit wrong, because Ayanokoji is the one who needs to defeat Horikita class to be able to graduate as Class A. However, if this part of the synopsis actually came from the future, that means Ayanokoji class will overtake Horikita class at some point, and Horikita class needs to take it back. Looks like we already get a huge spoiler for the future event, and even though the downfall of the Horikita class is inevitable, let's just hope they could arise and finally defeat Ayanokoji.